All right, so this is the Psychotic Strength Podcast. This is Tyler Toby Townsend.
Lily Kozma.
Stephen Landon.
All right, Steven's on Google Meets. It looks like it should be fine. All right, we're gonna head right into gym updates.
Yeah.
I should have did the clearing of my throat before this, huh? So, gym updates for me. I've just been picking up cars recently, just testing everything out, getting it ready for this show. Yesterday, I went over there and deadlifted this fucking thing. I'm having a hard time. I'm not having enough people show up to deadlift it. So I'm like, this is about 450, right? And the guy that came with me is like, no, this is much heavier than that. And I'm like, oh, I don't fucking know, man. So, and then the other one's supposed to be around 250. And the chick I was with, did not do well with it. Almost wet herself trying to pull it. So
It was not me.
it was not Lily. It was Lily. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just need a couple people there that are like low range, mid range, and high range, because I'm not supposed to be pulling fucking over 450, but I pulled that car yesterday to make a video, and it's gonna be really rough.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, and then we're flipping it. I'm showing them how the flip goes, and then we use the handles just with our hands, which was really rough. I might do like a trap bar version of that, but it sucked. Yeah. How about you, Lily? You've been taking a break after your show.
I took a rest week after my first ever strongman comp.
Oh,
So,
awesome.
yeah, thanks. It was fun. I'm still like processing it, and I still feel like I was doing it through the eyes of a promoter. Like, I don't know if I don't know. It was fun, but yeah, I don't know what's next.
I don't think everyone keeps saying, no, I don't think she caught the bug, man.
I don't think I did. Like, I was still thinking about it as a promoter, just like, oh, okay, cool, that was a learning experience. Now I understand the athletes better. Like, we also had both girls with us, and I'm very, like, my focus gets pulled very easily when, especially my littlest is around. She was doing great. She was not being demanding, but she was still there, and so I still felt very pulled focus wise. So I don't know, maybe it would be different if it was like just Tyler and I and other adults there and I would just be able to fully focus, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna kind of shift focus, I think, as far as my gym stuff, and focus more on physique.
Body composition.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I still want to be strong for sure. I got to keep up with this guy, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be like focusing on competing quite right now. So
Understandable.
yeah, but it was fun. It was cool. It was, kind of cool to be a part of the community in a different way than I'm used to.
Well, I mean, I can't even work out without a competition in mind. I just won't do it. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it is hard to focus on, especially like maxing out, without thinking about, okay, what are you going to go in to do, and how is this going to trade over to a strongman competition? Because otherwise, it's just like, well, if I'm doing it for myself, I'm not going to do very good.
Yeah, that's hard for me, man. I'm just too lazy.
Yeah.
No, it's really I need competition motivation is what I need.
You know what I think? I think I might actually do better without a comp in mind, because like with this one, it made me only want to train the things I was going to need.
Yeah,
Like-
that's a fair point too.
Like, I didn't want to deadlift with a regular bar because it was an axle deadlift. And I didn't want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to squat, period. Because I wasn't going to need to squat, and I hate squats. So I felt
Yeah.
like having a comp gave me an excuse to not do certain things because I wouldn't need them in this specific comp. So I don't know.
I feel like
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
that's a very amateur way to look at it.
Yeah.
Not to say it bad or
No, that's
not, but
fair.
like
Right.
as a coach, I'm like, you need all that shit,
Right.
dude.
No, for sure. But I
But
don't want to. So I feel like I have an excuse if it's not in the comp.
yeah.
But
Well, so how's your gym update going?
Yeah, I just had a competition myself about a couple weeks ago, I believe now, and didn't place where I expected. But I hit some decent numbers on everything, and got some good stones up, which I was happy about. It was just one of those things where I don't think I was mentally ready for this one, and I got in my own head coming into it. We had to drive, for 10 hours, had to break it up into a couple days, so that was also taxing. But it was just, I try not to make excuses, but it's just I got in my own head and ended up placing 5th out of 6. And but other than that, I'm ready to get in, and I'm kind of shifting my focus now to getting a little bit leaner, trying to get down to 275, maybe even a little bit lower, but kind of focusing on getting my cardio up and getting faster, leaner, stronger at the same time if we can, and just trying to just be better and lose weight.
Yeah, man. So you're saying you didn't place exactly where you wanted to, but did you perform to your expectations?
At that time, I believe I did, because I got in my own head and I was just like, oh, I'm not going to do great at this. I'm not going to do great. And I performed a little bit above my expectations in some, and, that helped kind of boost my morale. But, I mean, overall, coming in and back was feeling weird and knees were feeling weird, I put up a good fight and did better than expected for sure.
That's fantastic, man. I mean, because everyone always says it's you against you in these things. I mean, I'm a little more competitive than that, but
Right. Absolutely.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you did well, man. You let's kind of shift over real quick. You've been doing this for like 4 years, you said, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What got you into this?
So I spent 22 years of my life in Missouri. Had some tragedies happen with some family members, and I ended up moving out to Washington kind of lost. I've always wanted to see the Pacific Northwest, and came out here, and I knew that I liked the gym. I was in any strength training class in high school and middle school. I kind of worked out. We didn't have much in Missouri. I didn't go to any gyms. We had 13 acres, so I worked out. Boxing trees when I could, and just lifting whatever I could find around the property. And I ended up just kind of getting on YouTube when I came out here, and I saw Eddie Hall lift the 500 kilograms off the floor, and that was like, I was like, oh, that's incredible. I can't believe a human could even do that. I couldn't even fathom it. And so that's kind of what pushed me. I was like, I had no idea that humans could even be that big and that strong and get to that point, and that was kind of my motivation to be like, all right, I want that to be my legacy, to come in and be strong and do great things.
That's cool, man. When you say you want to come in and be strong, and like, what is it, something you find attainable that you want to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, the ultimate goal is like just trying to win and get to world's strongest man. Like that's always been, I know that there's like the Arnolds and they have, Giants Live and all sorts of stuff, but like my ultimate all-time goal, I think, in strongman is like being able to hold that trophy up and say that you were the world's strongest man. And it's a long shot, but I haven't given up within the 4 years yet, and I'm still pushing. So
That's a big goal, man. I like that a lot.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I like to set my standards high and just keep going, because I don't want to just set it to mediocre or low and then hit it and then not know what to do next. And I think that's something important that my parents taught me is just like, literally shoot for the stars.
Yeah. Well, let's head backwards. You said something I found intriguing here. And we can talk as much about it as you want, or as little
Sure.
about it as you want. So the tragedy thing, like hit me with that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, for sure. So, I grew up in kind of a broken-ish household. My biological mom died when I was 6 months old. I didn't meet her, and my dad was, not around. He ended up committing suicide whenever I was, I think, around 7 or 8. But he wasn't in the picture. So my grandparents on my mom's side ended up raising me, and they did foster care. And there was a lot of just trauma and a lot of heavy emotions in the household growing up. So it was difficult, with that alone, and then having to also get close to these people and then have them get taken back to their original families. So that was also kind of a hard thing to deal with and try to get past, especially as a child. And whenever I was 18 and 19, both my parents got cancer. My grandparents, I call them parents, and they both passed away. And I ended up losing our child at home because of that, because I couldn't pay for it on my own, and other family members, we just couldn't do it. So ended up just living on my own, got forced out, at a young age, wasn't ready for life. So I just kind of had to fend for myself. And, that's at the point, 22 years, I ended up joining the Army and went to basic training, had some, awesome experiences there. It was during the COVID times, and we got recycled. So I ended up having to do 2 cycles of basic training. I was there for almost 6 months, and I just wasn't mentally ready, joined for all the wrong reasons. And so I ended up getting out and taking a discharge at 6 months, without, having it be a bad discharge. And that's whenever I was lost. I'd given up on, doing an awesome thing and joining the military. I didn't have my parents anymore and my child at home, my family. So that's whenever I decided to come out to Washington, and strongman ended up being that anchor for me, and ultimately helping me lock down my life.
Man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is quite a lot.
Damn. Okay. Well, so you coming out here? How'd that go, man? How'd you make this happen? What did that look like?
Yeah, so afterwards, I was in Texas at the time, and I ended up moving to Iowa first, just for about a month or two, because I've got extended family up there, and I was just, I was lost, as I said, and I just made the decision. My godfather, who visited every once in a while, he lives out in Copalis, kind of on the very, very edge of the coast there, and came out and lived with him for a little bit and stayed with him. He does chainsaw carvings, and so I apprenticed him and learned how to do some little chainsaw carvings, and that was kind of like my money maker at first when moving out here. But yeah, I just made it happen. I had a little bit of money from the military saved up, and I was just like, I just made that decision, bought the ticket, and I left.
Okay. So why up in Wenatchee, right? That's where you're at?
Yeah. So I ended up getting a job at Rent-A-Center, worked my way up. I ended up having my own store, and that ended me in Bellingham, where I ended up managing my own store up there. And of course, being a big corporation, they shut it down. They shut down a lot of stores. And that's when I met Maddie, my girlfriend now, and her and I we clicked. We have all the right, reasons for being together, and we have, so much in common. And she is at the time she was a firefighter EMT, and she was working on getting her paramedic, and she ended up finishing that while we were up there in Bellingham, and she got offered a job out here in Wenatchee, and we just took it. So that's how we ended up here. It's not like the best place in the world to live, and it's not our first choice, but pretty much wherever she needs to go for her stuff, I kind of follow and just make sure that we're both happy. And but yeah, that's how I ended up out here.
Wow, man. Okay. So what is how long have you and Maddie been together?
About two and close to a half years.
Nice. Nice. What
Yeah.
you're saying you guys are super similar. What's that look like, man?
Yeah. So when I was in Missouri, I did firefighting. I got all my certifications and tried to go career, but all the family stuff happened. But I ended up volunteering for a station for about 2 years and living in the fire station, running a bunch of calls. And it's just when you have someone else in that same field, they just get you and they understand. And, because every day you go on a call or something, it could be a tragedy that someone else is having that you have to deal with yourself on top of helping them. And, yeah, we just kind of clicked in that aspect. And the first thing we did was when we hung out, we watched Giants Live together. So I showed her that. And she was intrigued because she had never seen it. A lot of people I've talked to never even heard of strongman. And yeah, we ended up just clicking on that end, and she liked to work out and hike and just enjoy life. And yeah, now I've got her into strongman, and she does. She actually did the competition with me a couple weeks ago.
Nice. How did she end up
nice.
doing?
She placed second out of I think 6 or 7 women.
Dang.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, yeah, she's doing well, and she just kind of wings it. She works her long shifts being a paramedic out here, and she just gets in when she can. But she just goes in and wings it, and she's strong as all get out. So
Yeah, she crushed it at the arm wrestling competition last summer, didn't she?
absolutely, yeah. She's a strong gal.
That's awesome.
Man. Okay. Well, so what's next for you? What are you thinking? Like, is there some sort of job you're heading towards, or?
Yeah, absolutely. My ultimate goal is just, getting a good job that I like, and I've been working security about a year now, and I've been trying to go for police officer in the state of Washington for a few years as well. I think that I have a lot of good qualities that can help the community and just keep people safe. That's always what I've wanted to do as a firefighter, as a EMS in general. It was a great feeling to be able to help people. And so that's my goal, is just trying to lean down and, be fit enough and strong enough to be, one of the best police officers wherever I go. And, yeah, just wherever it takes me.
That's cool, man. You plan on just being like a one of the normal cops? You trying to be a detective, a captain? What are you looking for there?
Yeah, I want to go SWAT team. I want to do it all. Detective would be awesome. I've always loved, any kind of stuff like that. But yeah, pretty much just whatever I can do, as long as I'm capable and, I feel it's the right thing, then absolutely. Cop and SWAT and, detective, or, getting a police dog and doing canine stuff, just really whatever is available to me.
That's cool, man. Yeah, we have a friend. I don't know if you remember Nathan Leitner.
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
He does most of the Highland stuff, but he's on SWAT.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
He's a cool dude, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shit, dude, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So, what's next for you in strongman? What do you think is like the biggest things that's maybe holding you back, or I don't know, what your biggest thing you need to work on?
Yeah, I think biggest thing I need to work on is just really getting my diet locked in, and because I think that is a huge thing. Because if I'm just eating slop and then coming into the gym, I'm not going to feel very good, and muscles are going to feel bad, and it's all sorts of stuff. But I think that, I'm having a lot of trouble with past injuries that I've just let go. And so, I started seeing a doctor and getting blood work done and chiropractic stuff. And I think just getting all of those things aligned is going to end up, pushing me a little bit further. And then ultimately just getting out of my own head and just trying to relax in the gym. I think whenever I get up to the bar, whatever it is, deadlift, overhead press, it's just I get in my own head, like, if I don't get this, I'm going to be super disappointed, and, my day, my week is going to be terrible. And I think that's my biggest hurdle right now.
Man, okay. Well, I know that when I first started, I was not in a great headspace either. And I was working out at like 2, 3 in the morning, usually around 3 in the morning, because I cooked. So I'd get off after closing, and then I'd go to the gym. And it was a pretty scary space to be in, because I was really just like challenging the weight to kill me.
Yeah.
So I would squat. Everything I did, it was by myself. It's 3 in the fucking morning, right? Like, so, I would leave the clips on and shit, and just like, that primal part of you jumps in to save your own life, and you realize how fucking strong you actually are.
Oh yeah, adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah. So, do you know what a rev limiter is on a car?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I have this big thing where once we get, because I mean, full disclosure, you're actually being coached by me right now.
Yeah.
Right. So, when we get super deep into it, and it's a lot easier with one-on-ones, right? We're kind of distanced, but I talk a lot about this whole rev limiter on our bodies. I mean, there's people who can pick up cars, women picking up cars off their children, right? That's the biggest example. And the problem is, when you do that, can you do it? Can you physically do it? Yes, you can, but it can also kill you.
Oh, absolutely.
That rev limiter on your body is definitely there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start getting real strong and you start pushing your body to its absolute limits, you find a way to remove that rev limiter. So I've been doing this for about fucking 15-ish years, right?
Yeah.
And I've come to this point where I can remove that rev limiter, but I've also pushed my body so hard I know it's about to break.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked up a 1,000-pound yoke because Martins was running it.
Yeah.
And I picked it up, stood it up for about 3 seconds, and put it back down. And I was like, yeah, that'll break me. It took everything I had to just stand it. But I could feel my body about to break down.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty good at like measuring. That's why I thought I was good with these cars, measuring like weight versus how much strain it's putting on my body. But with this injury, it's definitely been fucking weird.
Yeah.
So, so how do you feel about your rev limiter? Like, is that something you feel like you have any control over right now, or is that just on?
Yeah, I think it's just on autopilot, in all honesty, and that's it's. I feel like when I get to a competition, I just I got to go with the flow, and that's why no event is different than the other. Unfortunately, right now for me, that I've noticed is that I can't control that rev limiter. It's just like, if I get it up, I get it up, and all the adrenaline, usually gets dumped in the first event, so it's hard, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces, and I haven't figured out how to really control that yet. And I feel like when I first started, it was exactly how what you were saying is, yeah, you just go for it. You're just picking up heavy things and almost hoping it kills you, and you get to that adrenaline point, and you finally get it up, and you're excited, and it's just, I wouldn't even say it's a plateau, but it gets to a certain point where I feel like it's just on autopilot, and you're just lifting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely this headspace I have to get into where it's a clear head, like it's not, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not even thinking about picking up that weight. Usually I'm focused on the final product, right? So it's like a stone over bar, and I'm sitting here just like, this needs to go there. I'm not thinking about how it's going to get into my lap, how I'm going to get it out of my lap, all that other bullshit. I mean, I've done this enough, and that's the thing too, is a lot of this working out is learning how to do something primitively is kind of how I want to put that. And when I say that, I mean that you can't do it wrong. You know, you've done it 200,000 fucking times the right way, and so that's the way your body does it.
Yeah.
And when you can get to a point like that, then you can start focusing on that rev limiter part, because you have to get in the right mind space for it. If you're sitting here thinking, okay, I always suck at it when I do this, you know, or I really need to focus on this part of it, that you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to be able to let that rev limiter fly off and just go.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's about putting in those reps, man.
Yeah, and that's the tough part, you know, especially since, like, I've gained weight and, you know, I got a little complacent in certain aspects. Like, I used to be so good, and I don't even know why, but I used to be so good at carries, and now every time I pick up, like, a stone or a sandbag to walk with it, it just feels so heavy, even though it's really not. And so I think that's just, yeah, it's just like the headspace and just not being complacent again and getting locked in.
Well, I got to get my hands on you. When we come down here, you know, like I got a few little tricks I do with a lot of clients that some of it seems a little scary. I mean, I've been doing it a long time. I know where to push it to, right? But
Right.
like some stuff, I'll put you on a bar and we're squatting, and you don't get to come off the bar, and I'm going to load weight. So you don't get to see what's going on it. You don't get to none of that shit. And so I'll do stuff like, it's little stuff, like you're not going to know, and the more I talk about it, the more you're going to be in your head about it. So
I was going to say, he's going to think about it now. Maybe.
Yeah, it works for me the more you overthink it.
Absolutely.
Which is like, sometimes I'll slide a plate, and then I'll just put it back. And I'll be like, okay, go. And you're doing one single, right? And you're like, oh, that was so much heavier. Really? Because I didn't do anything. Now you're going to go again, and I'll slide that plate off, put it back on, and then throw like a 5 kilo plate on. And you're like, okay, yeah, that did feel good. And I'm like, well, that was 10 kilos more. And you're like, oh shit. So like, getting you out of your head and understanding that your body will do what it fucking is told to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just doing it safely, obviously. Like, so we're going to be there so that you can push your body to its absolute limit, because what I'm looking for is failure.
Yeah.
Failure's good, man. It really is. On a deadlift, on a squat, like on all that shit. Achieved failure is good. Where, like, failing because you just don't think it'll go up, or you're tired or whatever, is one thing, but achieving actual failure is almost a milestone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
How do you feel your body? Do you feel you pushed your body to, like, so we always go off maxes, right? Our calculated maxes and all this shit. Do you feel like those maxes are real?
At the current moment, no, I don't think. You know, I couldn't tell you if they're higher or lower, and that's where I'm lost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So
I'd say, given the numbers you got, I'd say it's definitely higher.
Yeah.
And I know that probably sucks to hear, because it feels too heavy, right?
Right.
I mean, but we're at a point where, like, world's strongest man, like, that's in your view. That's what you want. So, like, we got to be stronger, and you can do it. Okay. You know, you're definitely strong enough to fucking do it. It's just getting past those blocks in your brain.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big weight, small brain, dude, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's funny too, because people always put those two things together, that, like, most meatheads are fucking stupid. But it's almost a blessing and a skill, learning how to just turn your fucking brain off.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I wish it was just as simple as being able to do that for me, because I agree.
Yeah. Well, I've had to really learn how to do it, because, like I said, when I first started, this was a scary lift.
Sure.
I was lifting with pure hatred.
Yeah.
I don't use smelling salts, because they put you in that primitive stat, or that primitive status, and I want to be able to think of all the things and people I hate, you know?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but what I've run into now is I've been with Lily for quite some time now, and I've become happy.
Yeah,
So, like, hatred's not
yeah,
the motivator anymore.
yep,
So, like, you got to really learn. I feel like has really helped me learn how to, like, key into this, just what my body's capable of, because it's I don't have a choice anymore. There's no just pure rage lifting this up anymore.
yeah. No, and I absolutely agree. I was definitely starting off in that state too, you know, just being angry at the world and angry at everything and anyone that came into my path, and yeah, just, you know, getting over grief and being at peace with that. And then yeah, just like you said, being with a good girl, like yeah, it's hard to find things to be angry about nowadays.
Yeah, I've met her. She's cool, man. She really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
like
she's a
Maddie.
really cool person. Yeah.
So that leads me to another question. This is going to be ADHD podcast, right? So we're going to just keep popping off. The grief part. I know it's hard to think about and talk about and stuff, but how do you, like, whether I'm not sure if you're over it or not, but how did you cope? How did you deal with that? I mean, besides lifting, I mean mentally.
Yeah, it is one of those things where I truly believe you never get over it. You know, it's always going to be there. You're going to be, you know, sad at any given moment, you know, because it could just pop back into your brain. It's something you just got to live with. But, you know, I didn't have any resources at the time that it happened to be able to go talk to people. I didn't have anyone to talk to or any kind of thing or outlet besides lifting. And it took, you know, finding, you know, my girlfriend Maddie and other people like her family, and you know, my good side of my family that still talks to me. You know, being able to just realize that their time on this earth is finished, and whether that be for a reason or no reason, you know, it's just something that you got to realize that you got to move on, because if you just sit with it and you don't do anything about it, it just gets worse and worse, and it goes beyond rage, you know, and it can just get really bad. So I ended up having to just make a choice. You know, people that I loved around me basically just said, you know, it's been years, you know, it was 19 and 20 when they passed away. And, you know, I'm almost 30 this year. So it's like at some point or another, you really have to let it go. And you can still have time to grieve, but you know, you still got to move on. You still got to live life. And the thing is just like, not everyone knows what you're going through, and everyone's going through something. So it's like, I'm no different than somebody else across the world that's dealing with something worse or something, you know, very similar. And so you just gotta kind of move on.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot when, like that phrase you said there. Everyone's going through something. You know, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty mind blowing to think about that. That, like, I feel like at a certain point, me being upset at how either I was raised or how my life's gone or anything like that just becomes extremely selfish,
Yeah.
because everybody's dealing with not the same stuff you are, but everything on their own caliber.
Absolutely.
And it is fucking nuts to think about how much everybody's gone through, and this podcast has really helped me with that. Hearing everyone's story and hearing how everybody dealt with it.
Sure. Yeah.
That's
incredible.
I don't feel like an empathetic person. I'm not super empathetic. It's definitely a learned skill for me,
Yeah.
but it's definitely been healthy. You know?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you know, it's one of those things. I grew up being empathetic. My grandparents who raised me were very hippie-like, you know, love everybody. And you know, I'm at the age now where it's like, don't love everyone because there are bad people in the world. But
Yeah.
if I can just make, one difference in one person's day, like, if I see someone on the street and, they're having trouble and they ask me for food, I'll get them some food. If like someone in the grocery store, their card gets declined, I'll, like step up and be like, hey, I'll just pay for that. Or just giving someone a ride, or even just saying like, hey, how's it going? Can change their entire day. And just being kind. You don't have to be overly kind and actually give people rides or give people money or anything, but, just being human, I think, makes a huge difference in someone and everyone's day.
Yeah. I have a hard time with that statement just because I feel like humanity as a whole is pretty frustrating. So
It absolutely is.
I feel like good people are almost no longer human.
Yeah.
It's so rare, and it's so, most of the time it's disingenuous. Did I say that word right? Yeah, okay. Most people have agendas. Most people are helping to get something, and it's it's genuinely frustrating.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Yep.
So, the army thing. What was that like? It was like boot camp. I didn't do any of that shit. So, you went through basic training twice. Like, what does that entail?
Yeah, it's something that's pretty crazy because I believe I was 24 whenever I first got there, and I ended up turning 25 while I was there. And I ended up doing what they call just a cycle. I did a summer and a winter. So I was there for the very cold, shitty weather, and then I was also there for the very hot, shitty weather. It is incredibly humbling and very interesting because a lot of people, like from every walks of life, like there was a 39-year-old guy that was just trying to restart his life there. We had, an 18-year-old join because he was homeless and he just wanted to have a home. We had people come in from a different country, join up, and just to give their parents citizenship, and so it's just every single type of person, race, and just it's crazy meeting. It's just a big melting pot. But the cool part is you get there and you're all treated the same. You're all treated like you're dog shit. It's just you get there, they shave your head, and you all stand in the same line, and you wear the same uniforms, and they talk to you the same, and they yell at you, and they spit at you, and they push you around, but it's just that camaraderie was the best part, is because you're all going through it at the same time. And whether you came in and your life was great and your childhood was great, or you came in and your whole life was falling apart, it was you forgot about all that, and then you guys got through it together, and it was really incredible. I learned a lot I think that was like one of the big turning points in my life. Excuse me. And it was very, very humbling because, being a 24, 25-year-old guy, with a crappy childhood, I'm thinking, oh, I'm big and tough and I can handle anything. And then you get there and you have a 6'4" guy that's been shot at all of his Army career yelling at you. Your attitude changes. But it was awesome learning to shoot rifles and get physically fit. And I think that was another reason why strongman was a choice for me, because it was it wasn't necessarily, they didn't let us do weightlifting because they didn't have a gym, but it was a lot of, hey, go pick up this ammo can and move it over there, and go pick up this dummy and pick up your partner, and you got to run with them and learn how to do all these just incredibly very humbling workouts, but just awesome. Getting to feel the satisfaction of afterwards of just feeling defeated, but you actually did something. And I think that was also sort of ties into strongman, but it was an incredible opportunity. I just wish I had stayed in and gone through, and I was training to be a combat medic. But I met a lot of good people and did a lot of cool things.
You said that was during COVID? Yeah,
it was during COVID. It was right at the height. They didn't have any vaccines out or anything, and we ended up all popping positive for COVID, and they recycled our entire battery back to day zero. So we had to restart everything. New drill sergeants, new New everything. Had to redo all of it.
Wow.
Shit. Because of COVID?
Yep. Yeah, we had to do 2 weeks in quarantine, and then they said that it was like they couldn't throw us in because there was like almost 200 of us. They couldn't throw us in back where we were because most of the other batteries and units were ahead of where we were then, and so they just had to they had to restart us.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very discouraging to say the least.
Man, so were there probably quite a few of you guys in that unit that kind of finished up early, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, there was you did see a lot of people just kind of getting out, and I didn't end up getting out until we ended up getting to AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training, and that was in Texas. And I just got there, and I was just there was no longer they let you have your phone, and they kind of let you have a bunch of freedom. And for some reason, my mind wasn't ready for that. I think I had just gotten so comfortable being told what to do every day, and having to like completely lock in and shut my brain off and just listen to orders, that when I got there, I was just like, I started grieving really hard. And because it was right after, my parents had passed that I had joined, and it was just like, I can't have that freedom, So I just I was like, I got to find a new path. Otherwise it's just going to end up bad.
Wow.
Dang, man.
You like that structure almost kept you distracted or whatever. Like you got to just turn your brain off.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was just, it was incredible because it was like at first you're like, oh, this is terrible. I want my phone. I want to be able to watch TV. And then after a while, it's just like, oh, this is so much better because you can just focus on your own well-being, your own mental health, your own physical health.
Yeah.
Hygiene, and it was just,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's intense.
That's super intense. So, you have any other family back in Missouri?
Yeah, I've got my adopted brother and sister. My brother has a family of his own, a bunch of kids. They're doing well. My sister, she has autism, and so she just ended up moving into a group home. So she's doing good now. I keep up with them. Excuse me. I keep up with them. And then I have a lot of family in Iowa that, they see me posting and stuff, and they keep up. But, everyone's got families, and I almost have a family now of my own, being with Maddie and my own life out here. And it's just seeing quality of life is good, and then being like, okay, cool, moving on.
Yeah. So what? Okay, that's interesting too. The foster care thing. If you don't mind going there, you weren't a part of like the foster care system, as in you were in it. I mean, almost, I guess, the way you came to live with your grandparents, right?
Yeah. So so my biological mom, when she had me, she was still living there with my grandparents. And so whenever she passed away, nothing really changed. They just ended up, doing the paperwork to adopt me. So yeah, I was very, very lucky to not have to go actually into the system, because that would have been a lot worse. I don't know where I would have been if I had, because I had seen, anywhere from infants all the way to teenagers come into our home, from the system. And it was rough. It was rough. We just didn't understand like what they were going through. And, they were just so traumatized. It was incredible. But yeah, I was very lucky enough to not have to do that. But I did experience it firsthand about, seeing what those other kids had to go through.
Well, let's hit that a little. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely rough, especially since they would come in and, we treated them as like they were our brother and sister, and my grandparents treated them like they were their kids. And it was really hard to have to see them go back to their very drugged up family that ended up just meeting the bare minimum qualifications to get them back, and it was rough because a lot of times, we'd get these kids and they'd seem okay at first in the daytime, and you hit that nighttime cycle. I think that's where it really gets rough for kids with, traumatic childhood. Just because, like, at nighttime, it brings out like a certain anxiety and like need, and they get very, I guess I'll say, destructive. Yelling and screaming and not being able to sleep, and it disrupts a lot of the life, in the household where everyone else is trying to, relax. And it was rough seeing that, because as a kid, you just see another kid acting out. We were just like, oh, this kid came in from foster care and he's just acting out and being crazy. But the fact of the matter is like he was very, very traumatized, and we didn't know what he was going through, but there was a lot of situations where little babies would come in, 2-3 years old, and like we'd get so close to them, because they're just innocent babies. Like they don't have any control over what's going on, and then a month later they'd be gone, they'd be taken back, never see them again. Don't know how they are, don't know if they ended up going to a good family or back to their crappy family, and it was just really rough living in that and seeing all that stuff, and then just having to deal with it, and then just be like, oh, they're gone, let's move on.
Was it a lot of turnover like that, like short-term stays, or were there some that were like longer?
Absolutely, yeah. We had, I think, a few that would last about 6 months. I think we did have maybe one that was there for a year, but a lot of the time it was just what they signed up for. It was almost like, my grandparents were kind of the safe haven until that way, like the kids didn't have to go into a foster home, because we were in rural Missouri. We were around the area of Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. There was not any big facility. There was no housing. There was just, good people that decided to help. And there was just, it was a lot of turnover. They'd come in for a couple months, and my grandparents would help them the best they could, and a lot of the time they would end up getting really relaxed, and they started to trust my grandparents and us, and we started to look like a family, and then all of a sudden they're gone. So that was just a really hard part of it.
Wow. So the adopted brother and sister you mentioned, were they foster kids, or were they like biologically your cousins actually, or your grandparents? Like, who were they?
Sure, yeah, they were actually a part of that system as well.
Okay.
They were just the ones that ended up being able to stay, and they, they were the ones with the worst situations. I have 3 adopted sisters, and then my adopted brother, and 2 of the 3 adopted sisters, one is passed away, and the other one's just got their own life, but they ended up like just not being able to be helped. Their minds were kind of too far gone, and they were just ended up being very psychotic to the point of where they were hurting, and we had to call the police on them and stuff. And so that was another hard part of them just being violent, because they don't know anything else. That's how they were treated. But yeah, they were just the roughest ones with the worst of it. And my parents, they ended up just being able to adopt them full time and be able to call them sons and daughters. And it was just, I don't know if you know anything about the adoption systems, but it takes a long time. It's a long process. So, even if they did want to adopt the other children that came in, most of the time they just didn't get a chance, because they were either denied or their real parents came back. And again, they're meeting the, bare minimum qualifications to be able to take their children back.
Yeah. The sister with autism, is she, I feel like there's a lot more knowledge about it now.
Sure, yeah. Absolutely.
But even, 15, 20 years ago, not so much. Like, was that, is she like a high support needs, or more just, like, was she diagnosed back then? Did they understand what was happening, or?
Yeah, she was diagnosed back then, actually. Okay. She's very, I would say, low needs. She can go to work, and she can, fend for herself and cook, and
That's awesome.
And she's really good at art. She makes beautiful art projects, and she has passion behind everything she does, and just loves to go on walks and stuff. And she's really into, I think, her diet stuff now. So she's really into learning about nutrition.
Awesome.
But yeah, she just can't drive herself around. And so that's why she ended up having to go into a group home. Because when my parents passed, my grandparents, they, her, I guess, custody or, I don't know what you would call it, but she ended up, it didn't come to me, so I wasn't able to do anything, but it's just kind of her like power of attorney, and ended up going to her, I think, biological family, and they're not the best people. They also are very, I wouldn't say they're druggies or anything, but they're definitely not up there in society. And recently she was living in their house and they had a bunch of bed bugs, and they just can't take care of it because they're not able to. Her biological family is also kind of just messed up from their past. And so finally she was able to, get into a group home, which is just a large enough home with other people with disabilities, and they just get to live together, and they have personal assistants that come and shop for them and bring them, to go do fun things and all sorts of stuff. So she's finally, hopefully, in a great place.
Yeah, awesome. My daughter has autism, so I'm always, my ears always perk up to kind of hear different experiences and see how that turns out. You can't really predict how it's going to turn out.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm always just like, okay, like, what could it look like? What will her adult life, possibly be like? I don't know. So, thank you. Yeah, I just
yeah, of course.
Always interested to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little rough, man. I mean, we decided on homeschooling this year.
Sure, yeah.
For her, she's the youngest, and it's just getting to the point where, like, they're just Evergreen School District, which is the district she's in, doesn't have like a special ed program. They just kind of just throw her in there with everybody else and expect her to keep up. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because now she's getting further behind, and it's not helping.
They're like so inclusive, they're just ignoring it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're like, well,
that's kind of how. Yep.
We don't like to point out the difference, really, everybody. And I'm like, okay, but...
That's good for PR.
Yeah, like, there's definitely some needs here that could be addressed. So, yeah, it was a frustrating year, but...
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean...
Well, fifth graders are also mean.
Yep, that is very true, yeah.
Yeah, we're headed into junior high now, and it's just going to get scarier, so...
Yeah.
We're stepping out from public school for a little bit. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
But I mean, she's such a sweetheart, and also low needs, but it's still there.
Mm-hmm.
And
absolutely, yeah.
And she was nonverbal till she was almost 5.
Oh wow.
And so a lot of the focus in the earlier years was on that, just speech and behavioral, because she couldn't communicate, she had a lot of, frustrations and aggression, and so all the focus, I think, was poured into those aspects, and the academics themselves just ended up suffering. So, she has great social skills now, and she's very social.
I bet,
and but math and reading, she's just like, she could really care less. And it's like, okay, we do need to focus a little bit on some of this. So yeah.
Oh, I agree.
Well, I mean, same though. Math and reading, I'm good on that shit.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to care about that?
Yeah.
But,
pulling out the calculator every time I get to the gym to load up my plates.
Dude, that's the thing. I'm like, I don't even care if she learns all the same things that, like, we learned growing up. There's so much technology now.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just be happy if she learns how to utilize the technology to benefit her and help her be more independent, but... Yeah. Reading and stuff, like, I would like her to advance a little bit in those areas. But again, like, if this is where we plateau, there's ways to have the text read to you, so
Yep.
I'm like, well, we just got to figure out, though, like, where are we?
Well, school's pissing me off because fucking, she's over here reading signs. Like that's where we're at right now. Is we're getting through a sign, and they're like, I would like a couple paragraphs written about this chapter book, and I'm like, dude.
Yeah, we're not we're not reading chapter books yet.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's silly.
how long did you have your sister with you?
Yeah, for the 22 years, because she lived with my grandparents. So as soon as they, well, for 20 years. So yeah, as soon as they had passed away, she kind of went off and lived with her biological family. But yeah, she was, from the minute I remember things as a child, she was there.
Oh wow.
That is cool, man.
Mhm.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a different outlook on life having someone like that around, and
Oh, yeah.
that again. I want to say again, I didn't have empathy. I mean, I think I just view it differently than other people do,
Sure, yeah.
but it definitely helps with that.
Yeah, it really does. And I think, like, even with all the things that I've been through in life, it's made me the person I am today. And I wouldn't change anything even if I could, because I think that I was supposed to end up, doing what I'm doing now. And, I'm on the path to being able to help people and have a career for the rest of my life to be able to help people. And I think that's just, sometimes you got to have a bad life, and sometimes things happen to good people, and it's just the way it is.
Yeah, how close are you to you want to be the cop, right? So like, how close are you to doing that?
It's a long process, especially in Washington. It's about a 3 to 4 month process. I did a lot of interviews when I lived up in Bellingham. It's different for each department, so you got to do a little like psychological test online. It's about 200 questions, and then you got to do a little physical test for them. And then after that, you go in for like a panel interview, and then you got to do your polygraph test, and then maybe you'll get a chief's interview, and after that, it goes from there. And then you got to go through like a 19-week, basic. I guess you can call it like basic training, to be a cop, which is I think out in like Spokane or Pasco or something. So it's a very long process. It's definitely an investment. I've gotten past like the polygraph test for a few departments now, and then got denied before the chief's interview because other people had higher qualifications. They'll have college or what have you, or they have prior military longer than me, and so that's just kind of the game is getting your test scores high enough, and then just being able to interview well and just be genuine, in my opinion. Like, I'm not going to go in there and be fake. I think a lot of people can go in and just bullshit them and then get the job, and then find out they're not actually cut out for it. If I'm going to get it, I want to absolutely earn it, and I'm just going to be the same person I am and tell them exactly my history and what I want to do as a police officer and help people, and if they ask anything more of that, for me to just play the game and be fake, like I'm just not going to do it. It's not the job for me, and I'll go find another place.
That's fair.
Yeah.
It's very fair. I like that a lot. That's going to help with all this shit that's coming around. I mean, I kickboxed for a long time, and when you do that, you're at like an MMA gym, right? So I ended up with a lot of friends. Most of the cops did a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But they ended up a lot of them ended up retiring or quitting because of all the laws, especially in Washington, that are being passed. They're like, I can't do my own fucking job.
Yep.
Like, without getting possibly arrested or sued or fired.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how do you feel about that part? Like, you think you're going to be able to deal with all that?
Yeah, see, that's the rough thing, It just really depends on the county, because each county or department has different protocols. So, like, I would never, and I probably will never, work for a city department. So, for like Seattle or Portland, or like, I just can't. I don't think that would be the job for me. working as a beat cop and dealing with the everyday homeless and the everyday druggie or the everyday person that wants to record everything. I want to be like, just a county sheriff or a small town cop that, actually can make a difference, instead of getting a bunch of random calls for just silly things. I can actually, get to a house before the paramedics can because I'm closer and start CPR or, get to someone that's in distress, or someone's breaking into their home, like that's what a police officer should do, and also PR events, like going and just showing that, cops aren't scary, as long as you're a good cop, people are good, cops are good, but it is tricky. It is tricky, especially with Washington. So I don't know. Until I can get to that point to where they give me the offer letter, I just don't really think about it. I just kind of think about the next step.
That's fair. It's a good way to take it, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything else you got, man?
No, I'm excited to just keep doing this program and working out the kinks and hopefully just get leaner and stronger, man. And yeah,
For
that's
sure.
about it.
I think you're going to be really good at this, man. I think we're going to get you in there, get you real lean, and really do our best to keep that strength going.
Yeah.
We're shooting for natural worlds next year.
Yeah. I mean, I'll try. I'll be honest because I'll always be transparent about being natural, but I'm getting to the point where I'm like, shoot, being on testosterone or performance enhancing drugs would be nice because I know the big guys are doing it. I know, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, if you're at Worlds, you're probably on everything possible, all the peptides and everything. So it's one of those things of how long can I do it naturally until my body plateaus.
Yeah.
Well, so first of all, yes, that. Right, let's get your body as far as it'll go by itself. But the second thing is being around these big names and big people. I've learned a lot, and a lot of it is a lot of the big guys have the thought of if you can't make it to nationals, not on stuff, you're not ready. So
Absolutely.
Like if you're making it to nationals and then the next step is worlds, then fine. But you need to be able to make it to nationals natural in order to fucking be competitive then. So you get your ticket to nationals, then we go fucking see what we're doing, right? And then we go up to worlds. But natural strongman is getting pretty big, and that's going to be a lot of the cops, EMTs, Army,
thinking.
all that other shit.
It's like a good fit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if I can get to that point, absolutely. I think, this year I'm if I don't feel like I earned it, or if I can actually go there and even put up a fight, I just won't, because obviously I want to win, but I want to be able to not just zero everything. So, even getting an invite this year, I was like, I didn't earn it, I ended up, there was only 4 of us at that competition, over in, was it Woodinville? And it was just, I was like, just because I got 3rd doesn't mean I actually earned a place at Worlds.
Well, we're going. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. And
oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna try to watch it on live stream.
yeah, we'll get you going there eventually, maybe next year. I think we're going to have an entire crew.
That's what I'm
at
getting
this
at.
next one, dude.
We're already planning to have a whole team next year.
Because a bunch of people, they're like, "What the fuck was that competition?" I'm like, "Naturals, dude." They're like, "I didn't even know that was a thing."
Right? Yeah, I didn't really either. So yeah, it's cool.
So there might be a good probably 10 of us.
That'd be cool.
Going up to naturals. Obviously, I'm not competing there, but yeah,
Team
man.
captain.
Team captain. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm into
Gotta
that
have someone.
shit. But all right, man. Well, yeah, I'm writing programming in tonight, and we'll figure all that stuff out. But let me know if you have questions on that. And thanks for coming, dude. I appreciate you having the conversation.
Absolutely, yeah. Thanks for having me. This is my first podcast ever, but I enjoyed it.
Good. Now you can be on more because you have the
Right.
experience.
Absolutely.
Well, I do plan on eventually getting together, like just a bunch of the people I coach too, doing a podcast on that.
Sure.
But right now we're booked until October, so probably going to figure it
Oh
out
wow.
after that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just get
Yeah, you got
all.
that. You got your. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he could just get all his athletes together and do like a roast podcast,
Oh, damn.
a coach roast.
Yeah, that'd be good. Absolutely, especially making me do Stairmaster for 10 minutes.
You wanted to lean out, man.
Yeah, I know it. It's rough. I've been doing cardio lately, so yeah,
Yes, I mean the stairs will do it, dude. That shit is rough as hell, but
it is.
yeah. All right, man. Well, so this was the Psychotic Strength Podcast. This is Tyler Toby Townsend.
Lily Kozma,
Stephen Landon.
Thank you for coming, bud.
Yeah, thank you.
tell Maddie I said hi.
All right, we'll do.
All right.